Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
So, guys, we've got a new month on Cinephobe. It's August, so it's Denzel month. And we're going through 4 Denzel Washington Cinephobe eligible films. But I was talking to Stugotz about the first film we have, and please don't chime in. I want to see how close Stugotz can get to guessing what the movie is. Stugotz, if I told you this movie stars Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, and Kelly Lynch, whom you know and remember from Roadhouse and from Cocktail and other
She's great
movies in Cinephobe history. Can you guess first, or do you know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
All right. If I asked you to formulate the plot, just based on
the...
I gave you 3 names: Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, Kelly Lynch. Can you guess what the plot is or formulate what the plot is? First of all, I know Roy knows. Does everyone else in the shipping container
know the movie?
About?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of you?
I do not.
Okay. Chris, then you can play along as well.
So I would have... Well, Chris, who's the... are they a tandem? One of them has to be the good guy. One of them has to be the bad guy, right? Meaning Denzel or Crowe. I have Denzel as the good guy. Like, Denzel is the guy, like, he's the good guy. And Russell Crowe has done something horrible, because I just imagine Russell Crowe in that situation, in that scenario, being the bad guy. So I would say Denzel, good guy, Russell Crowe, bad guy. Russell Crowe is doing something that Denzel has to, it's urgent. It's only a matter of time.
It's pretty good.
Denzel's under the clock.
It's pretty good.
Kelly Lynch means something to Denzel's character. No?
Roy, does she mean something to his character?
Meh.
No?
She's important. I wouldn't say necessarily personally to him, but she is important.
She's important to Denzel.
Not necessarily to Denzel.
To Crowe.
Not necessarily to Crowe. She's important.
She's important. All right, so Denzel, good guy.
Yes.
Crowe has done something awful.
Yes.
Denzel has a certain period of time to catch Russell Crowe before something really, really bad happens.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of Kelly Lynch's place in this entire scenario.
I cheated and looked it up, so I can't play it.
You
anymore.
did?
Thanks, Chris.
Really?
I did too.
Well, if I'm being honest, I had already started doing it before he asked, and I
okay.
just hadn't gotten the answer yet.
All right.
Yeah. It's a doozy.
Really? Have I heard of the movie?
You absolutely have. You absolutely
I definitely have.
I can give you the year it came out,
I
if that
had
helps.
not.
Am I close so far?
I mean, given that you don't know anything about the movie, what you've described thus far those are accurate statements.
I'm just trying to figure out Kelly Lynch's place in this whole scenario. Like, what she's doing.
I'd love to do this with every movie.
Let's just sit here for 10 minutes until he figures it out.
So
has Kelly Lynch been kidnapped by Russell Crowe?
Yes.
Denzel Washington's job is to save Kelly Lynch. Kelly Lynch is important.
Yes.
She's important.
Yes.
She holds the keys to something.
Kind of, yes.
Okay. So Kelly Lynch kidnapped by Russell Crowe. Denzel Washington has 48 hours to save her. If he doesn't, the whole world ends.
No, I think you went a little too far there.
Okay.
There is a sense of urgency, but it's not like a countdown on the clock. Right. So guys, would you like to know the name of the movie?
I would.
Virtuosity.
Oh, wow.
For what?
Thinking back to yesterday's interview with Jimmy Johnson, I'm a little offended you guys think I'm that scared of Jimmy Johnson. Like, I was backing off of every question you guys were feeding me. I am the guy who asked him about, hey, does anyone spend too much time at the house? Like, overstay their welcome. Like, I got us to the point. I got us to Big Chill or Guest House. That's where I got us to. I mean, I feel like
You didn't that's one thing that I wanted you to do is try to get yourself invited, but you didn't want to do that.
There's no way he's having me, Billy.
Why not? But
I'm a big chill guy. I'm not even certain I'm a big chill guy.
Yeah, but is he going to tell you that to your face? Is the thing.
I think Jimmy would. Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys, I have an idea.
Oh boy.
What's that, Tony?
You know I'm an idea
Call him
guy.
again. I mean,
We should all go to the Big Chill and do a live show from the Big Chill with Jimmy.
All right, let's go.
Oh, I like that idea.
Let's go.
I like that
Let's go.
idea.
who's asking? Jess, you'll ask.
I'll ask.
All right.
We're in.
Now we have to ask Hildy and Kristen and all those
Bob,
people
we
again.
got
Should,
Bob.
should I call him Mr. Jimmy? Like, what's like? I got
No, you call him
Call him
Coach.
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 Yeah.
Coach.
You can-
Coach?
Jimmy, what do you-
Yes,
do you-
yes.
Mr. Coach.
Mr.
Can we come to the
Coach.
Big Chill and do a live show?
Oh my.
I think Jimmy would love that, actually. I do.
Nobody
Idea
said
guys do.
Nobody says Miami better than Jimmy Johnson.
He really
Miami.
does. I know.
Miami.
That's one of the things you told me to say to him, and I didn't say it.
one of the things. I wanted you to tell him that. And you
I was like, you say it.
You looked at me like, I will not. And that's one of those things. That's completely harmless to say that to him, but you were just terrified. Miami.
Well, because he adds an A at the end, right? It calls it Miami.
There's like
Miami.
a Y in there
Miami.
too. Miami.
There's an
Miami.
H at the end for sure.
Whoa, yeah, spell this because you guys said it ends with an A, an
I got
H, and a Y.
MIYAMIH.
Try that again.
Miami. Miami.
I'm a Cincinnati pal.
If you guys like, you guys know when you say the word "you,"
M-I-Y.
it starts with a Y.
Say spell it again.
Miami. My MIYAMIH. You guys. I put the H in because you guys said it. It ends with an H.
MIYAMIH is how you spell it.
I actually have it
Miami.
just with I at the end, like
You-
Miami.
Is that
It
Miami?
does have an I at the end.
Is that an
Right.
IH?
Miami spelled-
But you
Miami.
guys said an H. You guys were putting the H in there. I was putting the H in there,
Right.
Because you guys said.
Well, no, because Tony had it like MIAM.
It already is MIA.
I know.
Right.
Miami.
the way he says it, he emphasizes.
MIAMAH.
Guys,
Miami.
I've got him
looking-
doing a yam. He's like Miami.
Sweet potato.
I'm looking at aerial photos of the Big Chill. This looks like a really nice spot.
Oh, Big
Yeah,
Chill's
it is.
great.
Yeah, it's a good
You can
spot.
park the
Yeah.
boat right in the
Yeah.
right in the
Yeah.
dock.
yeah.
Jimmy owns it.
No,
Why
I
would
know.
it
It's,
not-
it's called Jimmy Johnson's Big
Right.
Chill. I see that.
Houseboat.
I went there not too long ago, and I was trying. That's a good idea.
You didn't invite me.
It was the day I called you guys from Mystery Crate. Remember, I had to go get a passport. I had to go to the
Oh.
Keys to do
yeah.
it. So I ate in the Big Chill on the way back, and they served one of the drinks in a mini bucket. Mm-hmm. And then I was trying to figure out in my head, is this one of those containers that I can take home, or do they
Oh,
reuse
Mini
the
buckets.
bucket or not? Yeah, because it said like the Big Chill was the mini bucket. It was like pretty cool, and I was like, I don't want Jimmy finding out I stole a bucket from him if I'm not supposed to keep this, and I didn't want to ask.
What did you ask?
Because it's an awkward question.
Because then you seem like a
You should have just
goober.
taken it.
Well, no, because then it's like
Flanagan's has set the standard that you can just leave
Take
with
stuff
as many
home.
cups.
no,
as you
those
want.
are keepsakes. But it's like, sir, can I take this bucket? And then the person will be like, I mean, do you need a bucket? Like, I guess sure. If you need a mini bucket, sure, take it, kid. You know?
Those large fruity drinks are never worth it, right?
No,
you pay like
no.
17
No,
bucks.
no.
They're disgusting.
Never.
Tummy
They-
ache city.
Yeah.
And they're made. They just put a
Tummy
bunch of
ache
sugar in there, and they're made to be cheap for them.
Right.
Yeah.
But they charge
They
a lot
pre-mix
because it's
all
big.
of it. Have you guys
Exactly.
seen
And
like
the next
bar?
day-
Like, have you ever worked at a bar and like seen like how it's all made, like the margarita machines and stuff? They're
Love
like
that podcast.
industrial sized buckets of the mix. A lot of places, some places do make their own, but a lot of places get like this pre-mixed, like these huge buckets. And they just dump it in. It looks like it's cleaning solution. It's like
Yep.
neon green buckets
Into that-
they're dumping in.
The little
Yeah,
blender
it's
machine.
crazy.
You know.
And it's all just sugar.
What else is in Tummy Ache City for you?
Yeah, who's the mayor?
I mean, gluten.
No.
Termo.
Just gluten,
Gluten.
ice cream.
Sugary alcohol drinks for
Frozen
me.
alcoholic beverages
Yes.
for sure. I had one of those giant fishbowl things once
Oh,
that it had
fishbowls
like
are bad.
it had like
Upside down
50
beer?
Swedish
Fish-
fish.
Oh,
the little
my
upside down
God.
beer
The
in there.
upside down beer thing that it's like
Oh.
a giant
I like that,
glass
though.
with
I
like
like that.
7 Coronas and it's like,
Yeah.
That, and then
that
I'll tell you
out.
another one. The Vegas, the multicolored yard that's this tall. It's
Yeah.
like 4
Yard
feet
long.
tall. Yeah, the yard longs.
Little
and
hand grenade.
or-
Tummy ache city. You gotta pre-tums one of those.
you got to not do one of those. It's not. I don't. First of all, you look like a rube walking around with this thing. Like I'm from out of town. Yum 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 yum. Like,
So none of us are fans of frozen.
No.
mixed
no, no.
beverages?
Oh, whoa.
I'm a big frozen margarita guy. huge.
Love a frozen margarita, but
Like you could do
But-
one.
In
But
a
you get
normal
like a
glass,
small
though, right?
size, like
Yes.
one, like a
Right.
mason jar
Yeah.
size, 16 ouncer, not like
Yeah.
a 32
no,
ouncer.
anything that comes in a wildly large container that is also a souvenir. That's an
Tummy Ache
absolute
City.
no. Tummy Ache City. There you go. It's your passport to Tummy Ache City.
How about ice cream? No?
Depends.
No.
Depends.
You got to eat a
Really?
lot of ice cream to get the tummy ache city.
Tummy takes.
It's a weird place.
I get a tummy ache every time I eat it.
Really? You might be,
but I-
lac-
but I-
you might be
don't-
lactose intolerant.
You're eating an entire pint.
Well, it's the next morning though. I mean,
Are you eating an entire
You're
pint?
definitely
Yes.
lactose intolerant.
no, I maintain like you're not eating ice cream correctly or the right ice cream unless it hurts the next morning. It has
That
to
is
hurt.
not the way.
Yeah.
I think so.
It
For
works.
me,
Carvel hurts the next morning. It does for me.
tummy ache city. If I eat something healthy before noon, tummy ache city.
Really?
If I eat like a salad at brunch, the
What
heartburn.
are you doing eating
Oh,
a salad
why?
at brunch? What
Why?
are you
Yeah, that's
doing
the
there?
mistake. Maybe it's the
Well,
salad.
sometimes there's like not things I can order, so I have to get a salad.
Hold on. You get heartburn from
I think it's the salad.
Yeah, it's definitely the salad.
Yep.
heartburn.
Like acidic food in the morning.
Salad is not acidic.
Heartburn.
You eat breakfast salad?
Yes, okay. This
fruit
happened
salad.
one
Oh my
time
god,
for the
that's
record.
so sad.
Breakfast salad. Da, 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 da. Breakfast salad. Da, 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 da. Where can I find another breakfast like that?
Where can I get a passport to
Tummy
tummy
Ache City. Wait, let's do it. As Bruce Springsteen.
I was having a breakfast salad.
I was having a salad at 8 a.m. this morning, yeah. I went to Tummy Ache City.
Born in tummy ache city.
So we going to the big chill or what?
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to go.
We're going
Yeah.
100%.
Next weekend.
Wait, you know what we should do?
Yeah, let's go
It-
next weekend.
Izzy has a boat.
No,
Really?
it's far though. It doesn't work
It
that
is so
way.
far.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
no,
like a
it's-
5-hour.
Like his boat is like way up north.
Yeah.
We'd have to go all the way around the entire state of Florida to get to Key
We
Largo.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
He could just pick us up from here. I mean, he's
His boat's
already.
in
Yeah.
Fort
No, but-
Lauderdale.
yeah,
It's not
there's-
like it's in Boca.
No, guys, no. Trust me, it's a very far drive in a boat. We cannot go.
Well,
on a
he'll
boat.
do the
It is a far
drive. We're
drive.
just
Yeah.
kind of.
We're just lounging.
We're lounging. We're getting drinks.
pick us
we're having
up,
a good
yeah,
time.
it's
Yeah,
not
pick
deep.
us up. Yeah.
Scoop us up right here.
You
We'll
have
be
him
in the
going
bay.
from Fort Lauderdale.
To Biscayne Bay. We'll hop on.
But Tony, you have to roll up in Jimmy's boat. That would be.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about Izzy's.
Izzy's boat.
Oh, Izzy's boat. I had Jimmy picking us up.
No,
No, this is parked at his house. not
This
the
is why
whole
he
way.
yells at you.
We should have asked. I think,
Deserve
Stugotz,
it.
I think the boat is like next level. Like I think he'll have people in his guest house that do not go out on the boat with him. Like I think the
a good
boat
take.
is the ultimate one.
Ooh, you
Really?
have the boat as higher than guest house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
So
go-
some people make it to the guest house, but never make it to the
Yeah.
boat.
Right,
exactly.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
are you sure? Because the guest house you're spending the night, but the boat you're just spending the day.
Yeah, but the guest house is also like
Far away. It's
far
like on the other
away where you
side,
can
yeah.
kind of like, oh, you know,
All right, I'm going to sleep later.
Out of
Tummy
si-
Ache City right now. I can't see you. You know what I mean? Where the boat is like more intimate. Where you guys,
Exactly.
everyone's right there on top of each other.
No
You,
shirt.
do you guys get Tummy Ache City on boats?
Oh,
It
if
depends.
the waves are rough, I am green.
Oh, you taking
Oh yeah.
you
Really?
taking what's it? Dramamine? Is that what they
If
call
I'm
it?
Yeah.
if I'm on a full stomach, I'm not on tummy ache city.
Really?
Empty stomach, tummy ache city.
Really? I would think it's the opposite. that
Nope.
you have
Full
some-
stomach, I'm good. I'm settled.
Now, does that apply to roller coasters for you?
Never been on one.
You've never been on a roller coaster?
What are you talking
Never
about?
been
What do you
on
mean
a-
you've never been on a
We've done
roller
this before.
coaster?
Never been on a roller
We
coaster
have
Get
done
out of
this
here.
before.
Since when?
We're in
my
reruns.
whole life.
Why?
With Jess? We've done this with
Yeah.
Jess
Hold on.
before?
Yeah, hold on,
It
wait,
might have been on
your-
Mystery Crate,
your
but we've
whole
definitely
life-
done this.
Your whole life, like how you never had milk your whole life, but then you revealed 5 minutes later that your family was getting milk in bottles.
But I
and
never
stuff.
had any. I
You-
never
you
never
held out.
ever.
Now, do you shame
Because
them?
I would be on a one-way ticket bus to Tummy Ache City.
Well, you
How
wouldn't
do you
know.
know?
You've never
You
had
were a
it.
That's
kid, you
true.
didn't
And I do
know.
eat ice cream, and I don't go to Tummy Ache City.
Oh.
City limits. Yeah.
Did you like hold it against your parents?
Hold what against my
Like,
parents?
oh, you guys remember that time you guys all sold out and started getting milk? But I never sold out. I kept it real the whole time. And now you guys are all back to not being milk, right? You do that?
No,
Back to-
never.
oh,
They also never took me on a roller coaster.
Did they
But
go
you
on
can
roller coasters?
go.
Never.
Like you're an adult. You can go on a roller coaster.
No, I can't.
Why is that?
No, I'm sure
She's
you
too
can.
short.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
There's a height restriction.
She's not too short for a roller coaster.
Are you sure?
She's an adult.
My daughter's almost tall enough for roller coasters now.
How tall is your daughter?
Like you have to be. I think most roller coasters like 54 inches, something like that.
Jess,
like, my
how tall
daughter's
are you?
Like low 40s.
I don't know. How many inches
I
am
don't usually say how tall I am.
How
in
many inches?
Well, how tall are you?
Like 5'5".
I'm just basing
Someone
it off.
do the math,
I know my
please.
daughter's like a foot away. I know my daughter's like a foot away from roller coasters, and she's like
65,
low
isn't it?
40s.
It's 85 inches.
No, it's not.
Do the math.
85.
Yeah.
No,
look it
that
up.
can't be right.
Like 5 feet. A foot is 12 inches. 5 times 12 is
That's 7 feet.
60, right?
yeah
Plus
plus 5
5.
inches.
Right, 85.
Oh.
65 inches.
It's 54 inches to get on the Hulk at Universal.
What's your favorite coaster?
Hulk's up there. I like the
Dueling Dragons?
I like rock. That's not even there anymore.
I know.
Rock and roller coaster's good.
Yeah.
Dueling Dragons.
Scary.
Isn't that from Starsky and Hutch? Is that what Will Ferrell?
What?
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. Around here, we talk a lot about the importance of good defense on the field or court. But what about defending your own home turf? Pretty important, huh? We believe home should be the safest place on earth for every family, which is why I use and recommend Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe is advanced whole home security that puts you, your home, and your family's safety first. Here's why I love it. Easy to install. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And I love to be able to keep an eye on my driveway to see what packages are coming up, keep an eye, see when the kids get home, when I'm away. I love Simply Safe. It is amazing. Simply Safe offers comprehensive protection, not only against intruders and burglary, but against expensive home hazards from flooding to fires with 24/7 professional monitoring. Simply Safe's agents take action the moment a threat is detected. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/DLB. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Again, that's simplysafe.com/DLB.
Dan Le Batard.
You getting started on the breakfast flan?
Oh man, I've been singing the song to myself all morning long. Breakfast flan. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Stugotz.
Have you never heard the breakfast flan
No,
song?
hit me with it.
Okay. I wish I had some breakfast flan. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Breakfast flan. Where can I find a breakfast like that?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code Dan for a special offer when you sign up. That's code Dan only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Ricky, you were talking before we started recording about doing a meet and greet at a dispensary. What's the worst experience you've ever had at a meet and greet? Like, just like where you're like, wow, this is terrible.
None. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's something about like the energy I put off, but people that usually come out to meet me, it's a specific kind of person. Even in the height of my fame, before I was really being myself. Still, I've been very fortunate that way.
It seems like you always have that response to things of like, no, I didn't feel that way. I liked I want you to just like to rip something. Like, when's the last time you had a dinner at a restaurant? You're like, this is shit.
You know, I think I've had that thought cross my mind, but I just log it away as well. This is an interesting experience. I don't go to like someone has to pay, you know? It's just,
I'm angry.
You're
just like, oh, it's a shitty meal. It's okay,
because
though.
it's not because you're searching for silver linings, right? It's because your attitude with life is to be balanced enough that whatever comes your way is meant to come your way, correct? To accept even things that are frustrating and stuff, to expect with tranquility that life is bringing you experiences. There's something to be found in all of them.
honestly, I think it comes from growing up around a lot of white people.
It's okay. Go on. Yes, please.
Because one of the things I'm noticing like more and more to where like I'm just like shut up is how much white people complain. It's like all they can do is point out problems. You know, like I was in the car with my friend listening to Joe Rogan, and I was like, we got to turn this shit off. It's because it's just people talking about problems. It's like people think that it's impossible to solve their problems. So the best thing they can do is just point out more creative ways to look at and identify problems.
But if I order my steak medium and that thing comes out like burnt, like what am I supposed to be like, this steak wanted to be burnt? Like, no, make my steak right. Maybe I could be less angry. I am white.
I'm just saying it's made, but I think it's what they call entitlement. I don't know. But from my perspective, I just hear like just 90% of what comes out of you guys' mouth is complaining about something. It's like, man.
The mashed potatoes are good. I can just appreciate the mashed potatoes. Damn it.
Exactly. Or appreciate, that the kitchen is really busy and you've been in times where you've been really busy and you were just off the mark a little bit and you were so grateful that someone understood and didn't give you a hard time about it.
Now, I wanted to ask you something because you said when you do these meet and greets that it attracts a certain crowd because you said that once I started being myself, that things started to change around me.
Well, no, he was saying that the people who came to see him, even when he was in disguise as the football player, could be interesting because they were looking for his quirkiness and stuff. And you're saying that even the most recent evolution, people see you even more clearly, right? Because they know what they're getting into if they want to meet you.
I was just going to ask, when do you recognize as the moment that you started being yourself?
It was when I walked away from the NFL. It's a funny story. So right after I retired back in 2004, I was staying with my friend Dougie in Huntington Beach. It was like right after. So it was when it was everywhere in the news. My good friend Dan was sharing the story with everyone. And 2 doors down from Dougie, there's this family, and this guy he was in the military. He was an officer, and he had a 12-year-old daughter. And I was walking down the street one day, and he recognized me. And he got like really excited about wanting me to hang out with his 12-year-old daughter. And it was like really, really confusing to me because like part of me was thinking I was like ashamed and like, I just like destroyed my plight to be a role model. And a parent who obviously knows what's going on is encouraging his daughter to want to spend time around me. And finally, I asked him. I said, "What's going on here?" And he said, he said, "I think what you did is really inspiring, and it's something that I'd like my daughter to pick up on and to see in person." And it was a wake up call, and I realized like, wow, this feels much better than trying to pretend to be something that I deplore in order to be a role model. It doesn't make any sense.
Why did that one reach you? You were at the bottom in terms of shame and you didn't understand how somebody else wouldn't also be ashamed of you?
Well, specifically related to children. I can understand how like adults would be like, yeah, man, like let's get high. But kids, I thought, that's the one where everyone's like, oh my God, now I have to have that conversation about drugs with my kids, and I saw that as a negative thing, where what he was saying, it was a positive thing to have this conversation with his daughter.
I don't want this to come off as a complaint, but at what point does Dougie become Doug? Because I'm thinking at like age 30, you're Doug now.
I think he'll always be Dougie, just he has that kind of
not a complaint,
vibe.
Like I said, not a complaint.
Yes, he got you a little self-conscious there.
Yeah, I think he might be a junior, and he has one of those like father figures who's, like.
I think very few people want to be a Douglas as well. You either want to be a Doug or a Dougie, because Douglas connotes.
I don't think an adult wants to be Dougie. I think not a mature, serious person.
That's fair.
Well, he was. I wouldn't define him as that back then, but
no, I believe that back then, if you were on Huntington Beach and you were running
exactly,
and you were running into somebody's arms ashamed, you needed a Dougie. You needed somebody who was a little relaxed about these things, about maturity.
Dougie was cool. I mean, Dougie like private jets to Vegas, and they just go crazy. It was. I had a fun time in Huntington. It was a really soft landing spot for that time in my life.
What were the most awe-inspiring places that you ended up just simply materially, Ricky? Not that this was, because you came back from India and were like, I don't understand. These people don't have anything and they're happier than the people that I'm running into. But when your private jets to Vegas type of life is in front of you, what are the things where you were pinching yourself because you're like, how the hell did I end up here?
The irony of those moments were really in that probably 2-month period when I decided to retire in 2004. I think the first was just when I was dating Deneen, was hanging out with Lenny and like
Lenny Kravitz. Like, you were touring with Lenny Kravitz.
Well, I would go over to his house because I was dating his personal assistant, so I was at his house all the time, and it's just really plush. His boat, like you go on his boat and you feel like you're in a movie. And then, on tour and the private jet.
Well, he's got great style too, right? Like he's got impeccable taste.
Yes. Yeah. So there was that. And then hanging out with Dougie. Like Dougie was rolling with like some ballers in Orange County. And so just their houses and the private jets to Vegas and the butler in the hotel.
Kind of need him to teach me how to Dougie.
But all in both of those situations, I was like an extra. I wasn't the star. I was like a side. Like I didn't even have a role. I just was tagging along. So it was fun.
Speaking of maturity with Dougie, I do believe it should be Len Kravitz now. He's 50 years old. Let's go. It's got to be Len.
So Lenny, I think we've kind of come up with a cause idea here. So like you're an E, you're a Lenny, you're a Dougie before 30. Then, maybe from 30 to 55, you're Len, and then 55 plus, you're Leonard. Yeah. And then you go through old age as a Leonard or a Douglas.
It's like going from Ricky to Eric. So who still calls you Danny?
Michael Wilbon.
Michael Wilbon, and people who know me from Danny when I was
and Chris Mad Doug Russo,
freshman in college. I meant to ask you this: do we offend you because I've gotten so used to, and I've always known you as Ricky? We have not changed your name officially here to Eric Myron. Do I offend you in not having learned that? Because we probably should be referring to you that way.
No, I'm a Gemini, so I could have two names.
Let me ask you what you were talking about before we turned on the microphones, because you were talking about a meet and greet, and you were saying it was in Oregon on the cusp of Idaho, and you were taking us through the weirdness of having two different spiritualities legally separated by just a few feet. Being an ambassador for cannabis now, what has that been like? What are the details worth sharing with the audience when you arrive somewhere like that? How much do you like it? How much in your element do you feel talking to kindred spirit?
And how high do you get before?
Yeah. So kindred spirits, of course. Most of the people that show up, because these meet and greets are in a dispensary, are people that are comfortable walking in a dispensary. And for the most part, most people that are excited about meeting me are cannabis consumers. And so I love it because I just love talking to people and asking questions. And it always like trips me out that something that I've hidden for so long, my cannabis use, is that now I have the opportunity to like ask people questions about theirs and get them talking about it openly a lot of the times for the first time. And so that's fun. And then it's also fun to learn about how people consume cannabis differently in different parts of the country, and in different parts of the world. So it's great. I feel like I'm gathering information, really absorbing, I think, kind of as an anthropologist, really absorbing the larger, I think at some point, hopefully international cannabis culture. And I think that it begins with understanding the history of where cannabis has come and understanding how we got here, and also thinking about and creating the future of where it's headed.
You're a hero in that community, I would imagine. I also can't imagine how weird it must be for you, all of it, Ricky, to go from whatever the shame was with Dougie to talking to Dougie's, or it was Dougie's child or a friend of Dougie's, regardless, talking to a child, and from there taking every step into your new life as like, there are life lessons in the idea of turning your shame into something you can be proud of.
Well, I think you have to, because the shame doesn't disappear. Either you wrestle and fight the shame, or you turn it into something you can be proud of. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but at least in my experience, it's been quite powerful. Because it's more than just the cannabis. I've truly become an advocate, and it's not an advocate for just cannabis per se. It's an advocate for plants. It's an advocate for herbalism. It's an advocate for mental health. And it's also an advocate for those parts of ourselves that are awakened or that we become more aware of when we do consume cannabis. Because there needs to be someone speaking up for those parts of ourselves.
But let's go deeper on that, Ricky, because one of the options there could be, to the person listening, no, I don't need to find the positive in my shame. The shame doesn't have to be there. I can change. And your argument would be, but don't. Accept yourself.
Well, if you take a magnifying glass and you look for where are the roots of shame, right? If you look really closely, you're going to see it's not intrinsic. It was something that was given to you and put onto you. And so it's like I would think about, the shame for breaking the rules. And I thought about it and I was like, the rules, who made the rules, right? It says who. And it got me to like dig deeper for some internal, to have access to an internal authority, and checking in with that internal authority, that feels much better, at least to me.
What was happening to that person in football, though, Ricky? Like, what, ignored? Intuition? Like just a sickness in your stomach? This doesn't feel right? I'm not mature enough, adult enough to listen to this?
It was training. It was training. The same way we think of school, and some people really like to learn, but still school kind of sucks, and that you have to get through it to gain the proficiency and the education that you need to go do the things you want to do. And I just think there were things that I needed to learn in life about how to be successful in life. And what I learned as a football player allowed me to learn those things. And, we pay a price for the things we learn. And to me, at the end of the day, I 100% think it's worth it.
What was the training, though, to push down the shame? Like, because you weren't examining it, right? You weren't examining roots. You were just you were just neglecting that part of yourself or ignoring that part of yourself.
Well, I put myself in a position where being myself generated a public shame. And so the training was how to get over that shit. Because, to me, I think of like what stops most people in life is they're afraid, and going through all of that and pushing through, like, I don't have anything to be afraid of. So I can be myself. And I think I needed that kind of intensive training to go through those experiences to be able to be where I am. Like growth and value and all the wonderful things in life, they don't come for free. They require the dedication and courage and effort. And all of those things are things that I learned as a professional and a college football player.
Is there a greater freedom than the one from fear?
Nope. No, fear's a killer.
You learned or felt bulletproof or fearless at a point, or was it just scar tissue? Like, do you remember where it is that you got?
I never felt bulletproof. I felt tough enough to handle whatever was thrown at me, which is not the same thing as bulletproof. I just always had faith that I could recover from the bullet.
What thoughts do you have, Ricky, when you see training camps getting going? Like people getting excited, doing schedule talk, anything like this? Like, do you just like indifferent, football, whatever? Or like, what are your thoughts? Training camp.
I mean, there's like a couple of memories that flash, but they don't stick around and they just fade away. And I think the end feeling is, I'm glad I'm here right now.
Did you race many people? Were there many people in camps? We've been talking about whether Waddle's faster, Mostert is faster, Tyreek Hill is faster. Did you have a lot of people who beat you in races?
No, we didn't really race, but during the off season when we would condition and we'd do sprints, we'd have, unofficial races. Yeah, and when I played, Chris Chambers was the fastest person I played with, and I was probably neck and neck with him on my best day.
No other names that would come to mind as faster than Ricky Williams? Defense, offense, nowhere?
That I played with?
Or against?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that I played with. For me, it's like I'm a streaky kind of person. So on my best day, I think I can run with anyone. On my worst day, I'm just above average.
I doubt that very much. Let's go ahead and do what the horoscope charts are that are calling you today. Who did you like from among the batch we sent you?
President Joe Biden.
Why a big giant smile on your face? The guy comes down with coronavirus for the second time, falls off a bicycle, lowest approval rating in the history of presidents.
Yeah. So I get excited because one of my favorite things to talk about is death. Okay. And I mean, I'm not even referring to the elephant in the room. But looking
That's
at
not
his
nice
chart,
to say to Dan.
looking at President Biden's chart is like you can't help but think about death. Can't help but think about death. It's just all like the death symbols in astrology, which are Scorpio, the planet Pluto, the planet Mars, and the eighth house in his chart are all like lit up. And anyone who knows his autobiographical story, that he has experienced a lot of loss and a lot of death in his life, you know. And looking at this chart, I would say this is someone who thinks about death probably all of the time. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was every day. Okay, so that's just a chart, you know. And if I was sitting across from him, we would spend a lot of time talking about what happens after you die. Okay. All right. Now, someone asked me a question about health, specifically an infectious disease. In astrology, the planet that we look to is Mars. Mars creates any kind of inflammation or infections. And, you know, Mars is a planet more for a younger person. You know, is our energy, is our vitality. And as we age and mature, Mars tends to diminish. You know, literally our testosterone numbers drop. Okay. And Mars also is our immune system, our ability to fight disease. So that's why Mars issues come up. There's a tendency for people to get sick. Interesting, like side note here. I had COVID a couple of weeks ago, and it was a Mars transit, Mars triggering things in my chart. A couple of weeks ago, and during this Mars transit, I had COVID. The baby and my wife did not have COVID. Okay. 2 weeks later, they both are having a Mars transit. Okay, and they both get COVID. So it's fascinating, and I wonder if someone did some research, gathering birth information, and taking note of when people contracted COVID and to see what Mars is doing. Because this is another example. In Joe Biden's chart, Mars is doing a lot, and obviously he's fallen. Mars rules accidents and infectious diseases. So yeah, I'd be really concerned, looking at this chart, considering his age and the nature of his chart, and what we're seeing is Mars is moving around. So yeah, he really needs to take care of himself right now.
I've got a couple of follow-up questions for you. You say you love to talk about death?
Yeah.
Because
the conversation gets real. As soon as you start talking about death, everyone has to become more present and has to be real, or they have to leave.
You mentioned him thinking about death every day, and it got me thinking. I was asking these guys back here. I'm like, do you guys think about death every day? And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm consciously thinking about death, but I'm driving, some guy whizzes by me, and I'm like, oh shit.
Ricky says all the time, now more than ever, time is short.
Well, what I mean, even his chart is a good example, right? Anyone who's lost a loved one or multiple loved ones, they think about death every day, right? They think about death all the time.
What happens after death?
Life. It's a pattern. Life, death, life, right? Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. It's life on a more subtle plane, similar to where we go when we're dreaming.
Ricky, good catching up with you, sir. Always good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.